Good evening and welcome back to We're Not Really Here. My name is Spellman, with me Joleon Lescott and Kyle Walker on the back of a great performance from the boys in blue. 4-0, very close to being 5 at the end, antagonisingly close. But nevertheless, a great result for the boys. Unbelievable match.
Ridiculous, something I didn't see coming. I knew it was going to be entertaining, but to that level, again, unpredictable for me. But credit to Man City, obviously came here with the kind of mindset to showcase what they are good at and how good they can be on any given day.
It was just the performance from the entire team. First half, second half was amazing. To bring Riyad Mahrez on and to be able to showcase that level of talent as well, and to actually show the world, because that's what is watching. The world are watching this game because they want to see two of the best teams in the Premier League, two of the best teams in the world go head to head. And I think Manchester City really put a statement out there that we are still world class and we can show you what we can do.
I think it's something that all City fans just wanted to see today. Of course, they are the Premier League champions, but there was a great line there at the end from the commentary just saying, just a great reminder from City to say you may be champions, but we are no pushovers.
And I don't think us as a club, as fans, needed reminding, but I think a lot of people have got carried away, nonetheless, Liverpool fans, with what's happened this season, and rightly so. They deserved the title, but it showcases what we can do on any given day, and that's a great sign to show and have when you're going into a cup competition, where the FA Cup or the Champions League.
I was just going to jump in with some stats from the match. So, possession, actually, Manchester City, 48%, Liverpool, 52%, 14 shots for City, 6 on target, 3 corners. I think that shows that it was end-to-end game. Liverpool had quite a lot of chances, but it shows that actually defensively, Joleon, Manchester City stood their ground today. Yeah,
I think at times rode our luck a little bit in terms of what happened to the outcome when we give the ball away cheaply. But yeah, it shows that we have a resilience that I haven't seen as much as before, and I haven't had to rely on. But again, we're clinical. The fact that the possession was even, but we've just clinical in the final third and punished any half mistake. Because I don't remember looking and thinking Liverpool, oh, that was a bad error or kind of thing. It was just like, this is a chance. Oh, it's a goal kind of thing. So it proved that Man City are just clinical in the final third.
Well, we'll start there actually, because talking of the defence, there was a very young lad in the central partnership with Laporte, Eric Garcia. Of course, went off with that really bad injury, but thankfully he's all good. Just how good was Garcia tonight for you, Lescott? Of course, a position that you know so well.
Yeah, great. Obviously, a massive game to come in and kind of showcase what you're good at. And cheeky touch on it at half time. Eric's not one that's blessed with a natural ability of pace, but his positioning, his understanding of the game, it was there to see. And it's like he's played 50, 60 games. And let's not forget, Aymeric Laporte's not exactly old. You know what I mean? He's still young. So that partnership is still I'm relatively new. Both of them I've probably played 4 or 5 games together, if that. So it's a great sign to see that they was on the same page.
Yeah, definitely was. And with Laporte's injuries that he's had in the past, it really showed actually now he's got that match fitness. This is going to be a key centre-back for Manchester City, and it feels like whoever you do put him up with, Joleon, feels more confident, and they look great together.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's proven to be that number 1 spot, and it's whoever plays with him is the partnership, and I think that's what you need to recognise if you're going into that role. I kind of recognised that with Vinny, that I knew Vinny was the man going to play. So if I'm his best partner, that means I play. So I think that the partners that are Mendy, Stones, Garcia, that are going into play with Aymeric Laporte, I think they need to recognise, we need to make him better, which evidently keeps me in the team and the team do well.
Now, you correct me if I'm wrong here, but there was something that I picked up on where we were able to watch it in person, is just how vocal the players are, but in particular how vocal Van Dijk was. And I felt like we didn't quite have that voice in our defence. And do you think that is just one thing that maybe we do need to add, is that commanding presence, energy, and instructor almost?
Yeah, I think that at times that proves to be missing from the City team, but again, I think there's an understanding and an expectation of the players that it doesn't always seem to have to happen. I think the errors that City created for themselves were misplaced passes. I don't think it was anyone out of position really, or kind of making silly decisions. So that kind of voice that you heard from Van Dijk, it would definitely happen a lot more when you're losing 4-0.
Yes,
I think if they're 4-0 up, I don't think he's shouting as much. I don't think players are criticising each other as much. And it goes to show that when you are on the same page and you have the cohesion, that it's an easier game to play.
Yeah.
Let's have a little bit of a look at Manchester City's attacking force, because we've talked about them time and time again. One man that we have talked about loads as well is Kevin De Bruyne, and tonight he stepped up and raised the bar once again.
Definitely, but did he raise the bar, or did he just play how he normally plays?
True.
And that's the thing. That's the difference with Kevin. He's kind of set a standard that is just another level. And I think the first time he's probably been outshined by Raheem and Phil Foden. I think they were equally as good and had a bigger impact in terms of their contribution to the goal. So we can talk about all of them all night, but the good thing about them is their performances don't surprise us. Their level that they've hit is just normal.
Yeah, and they're doing it on a consistent basis as well. You mentioned him there, and we spoke about him a lot before the game, but it'd be rude not to with another assist and another goal to add to his name. Phil Foden, I know you're looking for a game just to see him run play without getting involved, but he can't help himself.
That's the thing, and I don't want him to not score, or I don't want him to play bad, but I just, again, he's just got so used to hitting that standard, and that must be the reason why he talks about learning from the best, because he's learning from Kevin, he's learning from David Silva, Raheem Sterling, and just seeing what they're doing and their contribution and saying, well, if I can mimic that to some capacity, then his future's endless.
One thing that you did mention during the game was Phil Foden's speed when he's got the ball, and actually how he can move with the ball. For you, has he got those little tricks, those little attributes in his box that we've not even seen yet?
Definitely. I think he showcased it a few times tonight that in possession he's probably quicker than out of possession. There was a couple of times, and it was Mane that was chasing him down one of the times, and he didn't seem to catch him. So I think that is a kind of a trait that he probably go on notice for as his time goes on, but he has the capability to just kind of suck defenders in and kind of draw them in and then just burst away from them. So there's one attribute that we probably don't talk about for as much, but he was exceptional tonight, exceptional.
So exciting. It feels like we're just kind of opening Pandora's box when we talk about Phil Foden. One man as well who is on the score sheet and is the player that Pep has turned to the most is Raheem Sterling. Here he is now with his post-match thoughts.
Perspective, can you put in perspective that thumping victory over the new champions?
Yeah, they've been brilliant all year. They've been brilliant all year. We knew we had to come out there strong. We wanted to, have a good game against them. I thought we started really well. And yeah, credit to the boys today.
What was the motivation tonight for City?
We knew we were behind. We knew we, disappointed at times this season. We lost some games that we know we shouldn't have lost, and it was we had a test today against the current champions to make a point, and I thought we done brilliant today.
Does that, as you say, you make a point, does that restore a bit of pride? Is that one in the bank for you, as it were?
Yeah, I just think it's one of those ones. Next season, I think the manager said we go out here and try to do our best, and next season starts today, and I think we done well.
You won a penalty, you scored one. Disappointed that you get credited with two?
I won a penalty and scored two.
You're not accepting the decision?
No, joking. The most important thing, we got the win, and I'm just really happy with that.
Also as well, Pep Guardiola has been talking about a changing of the guard at Manchester City, senior players leaving. How much do you feel, including yourself, there is talent here at an age where you can take those legends' places?
Yeah, it's a team that's evolving, it's a team that's changing all the time. And the players that are coming through, someone like Phil, you can see the maturity he's playing with. I think he's only 20, and he's playing like he's been in the first team for nearly 8 years or something like that. He's a credit to himself, and every day he comes in, every opportunity I've seen him get, he starts, he does brilliantly. So I think in the future we got some great players coming through.
How much will tonight's victory help you in the other competitions that you remain in?
Yeah, we know we've got the FA Cup and the Champions League, and these Premier League games are leading up to that. We need to finish strong, and that will only help us in in the semis and against Real Madrid and in the Champions League.
Well done tonight, Raheem. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers.
Raheem Sterling there, letting us know his thoughts at the end of the game. 2 goals for Raheem. Should he have had Lescott?
No, to be fair, I think it was going wide, but he's created it out of kind of himself. I'm disappointed he didn't shoot the chance he got after that, and then he probably would have had 2 goals on the score sheet. So, but again, he was exceptional tonight, and he's proven that he affects games. Like he has moments in games that other players can't have, like that penalty decision there. He's proven that he's not just strong for someone of his stature. He's a strong player, so you have to respect that, and evidently it led to the penalty.
It feels quite nice to see him smiling post-game, and actually we see that side of him, which we don't really get to see him having a laugh and a joke when the media is concerned and involved as well. And it feels like now he's got that confidence on the pitch, and it's kind of shining through him off the pitch as well.
Definitely, I think when he's addressed the media in the past, it's kind of lifted a weight off his shoulders that he was carrying, and it brought attention to a situation that was happening for him. He was kind of targeted in the wrong direction for whatever reason that it may have been, and now he's addressed that. Everyone seems to want him to do well, which evidently is leading to him having more confidence, a little bit less pressure. And scared of reactions that may come his way. So when I see Raheem playing like that and smiling like that, it's only good for football in regards to Man City and England.
There was an interesting question there about the changing of the guard, and obviously we've seen Kevin De Bruyne, I think, and he spoke about how he's really stepped up into taking on that kind of more senior role. It feels like Sterling now is on the cusp of doing the same, and do you think he's got that in him to be one of the leaders in the dressing room for years to come?
Definitely, I think he's proven he's got that in him, the way he's addressed things outside of football. So a lot of credit for that. He deserves a lot of credit for that, and I think he's just a natural progression for him. I don't think someone's going to have to force that on him. I do see him as a captain. I do believe he could captain England and Man City. He's proven to be a mature person at such a young age. And what is he, 25, 26, if that? So he's proven, and he's got loads of experience in terms of football and life experience that potentially older players don't have. So I think it's only going to get better for Raheem and Man City.
It feels like he's found his manager as well, which has helped him flourish so far in his years here at Manchester City with Pep Guardiola as well. How important is that as a player to be able to speak to your manager, just have someone that you can learn from and actually listen to? Because someone could tell you everything in the world and all the secrets, but it's about you putting them into practice on the pitch.
Definitely. I think he's helped him simplify the process of the end goal, whether that may be like a tap-in or kind of creating a chance out of nothing. But I also believe that there's going to be a massive respect there from Raheem. The fact that Pep has worked with some of the greatest players ever known. He's going to be able to kind of say, well, you know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? I can trust what you're saying. He's going to benefit me and the team. So I think it's only kind of a relationship that blossoms, and you can see they have a different type of relationship to other players. I think Pep is openly not criticising him, but wanting the most for him. I think he, like, even a chance, he addressed it straight away. I don't think they let anything simmer or sit with each other. I think if there's a problem, and I don't mean a real problem, I mean like a concern or like a thing that Pep may feel helps the team, he addresses it. And Raheem just absorbs that and says, yeah, I hold my hands up, I should have done the different thing, and the outcome's different the next time around.
It's hard to find many negatives in tonight's game, but going back to something we touched upon at half-time, there was still those lapses in concentration that we spoke about. When we start looking towards Europe in the summer, you know, I do worry as a fan, you know, that your Real Madrids and your Barcelonas on another night, you know, they'll make use of those mistakes. And should that be a worry, or do you think that I've got nothing to?
I think it's a worry in terms of the mistakes, 100%, but we're talking about the European champions. So if they don't capitalise on their mistakes, then who does? You know what I mean? And what helps when you make a mistake is there's no crowd. That's when is the bonus to have no crowd, because you don't get ooh, and you don't get the kind of atmosphere or the tension when you receive the ball next. It's like if you get the ball in a simple position, the crowd reacts to that. And that can have an impact on the individual. So I think the fact that there is no crowd around them times when you make a mistake, it doesn't affect your confidence in your game.
Sounds like you're reliving a few moments from your career there, mate.
Yeah, there's been a few times. There's been a few times you hear, wee, like, don't give it me here.
There's been Kyle there. Kyle there behind you. You mentioned the crowd, though, and it's interesting. We're talking about it at the beginning of the game. How do you think that does affect the players, or how would that have affected you? Because I think that's, you know, is that the first time you've
that's
felt
the first
it?
time, like, talking about it at home and watching the game with crowd noise and speaking to people about it. You're like, that wouldn't affect you. You'd get on with it. But then going out to kick-off and not hearing anything and hearing lads talk and shout, it was kind of weird. I don't think you wouldn't enjoy it as much. There are times when the crowd just lift you out of nothing. Like, as a defender, you block, tackle, or kind of stop a shot from coming in, and that like adrenaline rush you only get from the crowd. You don't get that necessarily from the tackle. You get it from the reaction of everyone else.
Can you imagine the Etihad this evening, 4-0 up, the last few minutes, and then we score? We should have scored possibly another goal as well to make it 5. It would have erupted. The place would have been, everyone would have been screaming, shouting, chanting. It would have been amazing. Yes, these are the times that we are in, and they are unprecedented, as everyone is saying as well, but it feels like they've not let that get to them. They are mature about this. They understand what's happening, and they're not letting that affect them. And actually, they're just doing their talking on the pitch.
100%. And I don't think that's ever been in question with Pep's teams. I don't think there's been blips this season, but he's kind of set a standard that we've never seen before. So that wasn't going to be an issue for me in terms of how Man City kind of approached the game or approach any game. But in terms of the fans missing out on opportunities and occasions like this, like we're talking about winning the Champions League and having no fans, like that's ridiculous. Even Liverpool, you know what I mean? We've got to touch on they've waited 30 years, even though we waited 34, but they've waited 30 years to win the title, and no one's seen that, you know what I mean? So, and then there's a generation of, say, the likes of yourselves that are City fans, been City fans your whole life. We win the Champions League, and you're not able to witness that. It's disappointing. It's
tough, and, you know, it's something that we all know hope gets back as soon as we can, but we're doing our best here, and we're not really here to bring you as close to the action as we can. Let's look forward then. Of course, we've got a game at the weekend, and we've also got the semi-final to look forward to against Arsenal, Champions League in the summer. What do you want to see from City now then? Are we going to see a bit more squad rotation, or just keep playing the same team?
Is it the same team? Is it ever the same team? True. I think there's always squad rotation. No one could have picked that team tonight. I wouldn't have picked Eric Garcia, and I wouldn't have picked Phil Foden ahead of Mahrez. But I'm grateful they was both in the team, and they've proven Pep right, and everyone else kind of, this is why we play, and that's the thing with Pep. I think he's created a squad which I don't think any team have done in Europe. It's quite a squad of players that any given time you can play and you can fill the role left by the previous player.
Yeah. Now, looking forward even further, we've had 100 points, we've had 98 points, and next season we've got to raise the bar again, because Liverpool could end up on now 104 points possibly, because City have just beat them. So, yeah, 104 points possibly, but we have to now raise that bar to meet them and then surpass them one more time. That's not going to be easy.
I don't think anyone thinks it's going to be easy, and this result tonight and performance doesn't necessarily mean City are going to win the league next season. Let's not kind of get carried away with that. It's a great performance, great result, but Liverpool are the team to beat. Yep. And going into next season, it only, again, helps with the mindset of and the approach that is, if we as a club and as a team especially kind of approach the games like the FA Cup game against Newcastle and tonight, we're a match for anyone in the world. There's no one we should fear. So hopefully that's the case. And again, it hasn't been evident in previous seasons. Pep's kind of ruled out any complacency, and this season it's crept in on the odd occasion, so hopefully that isn't the situation next year.
There was an interesting line there as well from Raheem Sterling where he says, like, next season started today. So do you think that's where the players are kind of at now, is going like, oh, we're starting now, we kick on?
I hope so. I think with the short break that comes at the end of the season, what is it, 2 weeks, that can only help that. I remember when they started, the restart was started, and Raheem was talking about the mindset of the players, and Pep had approached it like, well, this is how you started to play. This is when you're playing in your garden and Sunday League. This is, you didn't play in front of fans, so it's that occasion again, and it kind of made sense. So the kind of approach to tonight's game in terms of, oh yeah, it's the start of a new season, we can look at it like that. It makes sense to do that way, and obviously with the kind of momentum that the club can have now going into the FA Cup, going into the Champions League, and then potentially restarting the season so soon, it only makes sense to do that.
Yeah.
Now, a little stat for you. This 4-0 defeat from Liverpool, or by Liverpool, should say, by Manchester City, is the joint heaviest defeat by a team already crowned Premier League champions in a season, along with Arsenal's 4-0 away defeat at Liverpool in 97-98. So, yeah, it shows that kind of this City team, we were breaking records still, or at least matching them, even though we've not won the Premier League.
It's a shame that for Liverpool, isn't it? Such a shame. We've got, you know, there's a few names that are kind of looking at maybe leaving this summer, and there's all sorts of names being linked with us kind of going in. Joleon, I'm just interested to know, what are the areas you think that we could maybe just look to strengthen a little bit to really get us in the right place for when it comes to next season?
I think defensively we still kind of need a centre half. I think it's been proven that if we lose Laporte at any given stage. We haven't got a settled partnership there. So I think another one established centre-half could come in and obviously help that situation. And it hurts me to say this, man. It hurts that I think we need a striker. Sergio's not going to be here forever. So it gives someone a transition period. Why Sergio's here? Learn from him. The absolute GOAT. You know what I mean? To kind of come in and just be like, this is how I do it. This is how it can be done. Learn your trade whilst I'm here from the best at doing it, which is what Gabby has been doing. And then Gabby takes the reins on next season, and we've got someone else to challenge Gabby and kind of create that kind of competition.
One man I want to talk about, Benjamin Mendy. People are very outspoken about him, but tonight he seemed like he was doing what I've seen from him for years at Monaco, what we saw briefly before his injuries at Manchester City as well. But we saw that tonight on the pitch. He was getting up and down, he was putting the ball across, he was whipping it in, and it just felt like we'd seen something which we haven't seen recently.
Yeah, for me, that was his best performance.
Yeah, agreed.
And the best time to do it against the best opposition. So it's a credit to him. Obviously, there's been occasions when he hasn't lived up to the hype that's around him, and let's get it right. There is a hype, rightly so. He's a great character to be around. I know he's great in the dressing room. So we all want to see him just do well, and I think this run of games can only help him. I think the fact that he's had a stop-start career at Man City due to injuries and form and stuff, but this kind of momentum now, it's like a new lease of life for him. So hopefully he continues this momentum into the Champions League, into next season, and then we just see the best of Benjamin Mendy.
Absolutely, and thereafter. Okay, we can now hear from Pep Guardiola. Here he is after the game.
Pep, can you give us your assessment of that result and your team's performance this evening?
What could I say? So we beat to the champions. An extraordinary team and a good performance. I think the game was good because they are brave to play, we are brave to play, and they had a clear chances in the first minutes with Salah, but after our first goal we make a good performance. We could have scored more goals.
Was there anything in particular you liked about your team tonight?
My team, I like every single game.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
My team, I like every single game.
No, was there any particular aspect that you enjoyed this evening?
But I would try to play football, try to, taking risk, because there's the best team I ever faced in my life. In the high pressing, the way they do, the mechanisms that they use are incredible, and how fast they are, how quick they play, and they had the courage to play in the smaller spaces, outside, inside, and we have the possibility to run. We connect with Kevin, with Rush, with Phil. Like he's a guy, he can make an incredible contrast than Gabriel. We could punish him, and we did it.
Stars all over the pitch, but in particular tonight, Kevin De Bruyne was voted as the Sky Sports man of the match. In fact, the commentary team said he's probably the best passer of the ball ever in the Premier League. What do you make of that comment?
Kevin, what can I say? So I think there are players like they speak for himself and the way they play every single game. So having a special quality, the vision, the people up front, how they move, and it's special. The 4 goal when fix left side and put in the right side. And he's an important player for us, for the Premier League, and for this club.
To achieve a result like this against the new champions, how much will that help you for the remainder of this season and the other competitions you're in?
Of course, it's important. So especially because they were incredible focus. I saw the guard of honor, how they walk inside, how focused they are. Not even say thank you, just focus to the game. I know the first minute how incredible focus. That's why they are champion in Europe and champion for the Premier League. And that's why I give a lot of credit for our victory, I think they drank a lot of beers in the last week, but they arrived here without no beers in their bloods to play and compete against us. And that's why I give a lot of credit that we have done. And maybe it will help us, for the game against Arsenal in semi-finals of the FA Cup, in Madrid, the second leg. And we have to continue in that way to arrive in the best condition these games. We won 2 titles. And we are in course for 2 more, and we're going to try to finish in a good way.
Thanks, Pep. Well done tonight.
Thank you.
Right.
Our manager Pep Guardiola speaking after the game. Kyle, what have we got on socials?
Yes, people have been tweeting. Make sure you are using that hashtag WNRH. All right. First one we've got is from City Chief, and it's Liverpool strikers trying to be Aymeric Laporte, and it's a gif of somebody just talking to a wall. Which I think is quite nice right there. Also, we've got one from @MCFC1, and then it says nothing to see, just Phil Foden's heat map, and then they've got a heat map of a goat right there, yeah. And then a couple of the players have already got into the dressing rooms, and they've picked up their phones, they've tweeted as they always do, and they've put Aymeric Laporte has put closed tonight, and that's a door, and then he's got great team performance, congrats to the boys, a picture of him and Mohamed Salah as well, and then Fernandinho has also tweeted a picture of all of the lads tonight. He's put well done lads. It's nice to see the support there. Obviously didn't feature this evening, but he is a huge part of this Manchester City squad, and I'm guessing just actually having him there, not on the pitch maybe, but having him in the dressing room, having him around, it's going to be a big boost of morale.
Oh, definitely. He commands respect for what he's achieved and his temperament. And I know a lot of the players, we did, even though he's slightly younger than me, looked up to him. As I said, his attitude to the game and his commitment to it is kind of goes unnoticed from outside of the club. But as a group of players, you appreciate people like him.
I remember, and I'm sure lots of people do, but he actually paid a little bit of his own transfer fee, the signing on bonus thing, to push through the move from Shakhtar Donetsk.
Yeah, it just shows commitment to come in, wanting to come. And he, as I said, he was at Shakhtar so long. I think it was like 7 years he was there. And I remember it was at the time when the first time I recognised who he was and what he's capable of, when Shakhtar played Chelsea, and he was playing against Ramirez, who was dominating the midfield them times. He was running through, and he matched him in the Champions League, and I was like, wow, this guy has got something. And then I think a year later we signed him.
Now, someone that featured this evening in a similar role was Rodrigo. I think we've seen time and time again him slip into that role as well. People might be a little bit outspoken about him, and they'll share their thoughts and feelings, comparing maybe to Fernandinho, but someone who plays in that role, it goes so unnoticed, I feel like. They just do the job they need to do. They do it well, and that's why they don't get all the accolades. They don't get all the assists, maybe, but actually what they do is vital.
No, definitely. I think as time's gone on over the last 5 or 6 years, that has probably become the most uncreditable position in any team that fans appreciate. I think as players, especially as a defender, you appreciate that role. You know how important it was. There's Nigel de Jong, Gareth Barry, Michael Carrick. There's so many players that I've played with in that position that are kind of just do so much work that goes unnoticed, and you got to give so much credit to. But tonight, I think, like Carl said, I think people have questioned and compared Rodri to Fernandinho, and they're totally different styles that play in the same position for me. But I think tonight he showed that he can do that other side to it if necessary, and he got around the pitch a lot more than we've seen him. I think we've seen him chasing the ball up through to the goalkeeper, which again we haven't seen him do in previous games.
Yeah, I think it says a lot, isn't it, that this is only his first season, so I think there's so much more room to grow, and he's still so young as well. And also a guy that I think, while still playing football, got his degree from university, which I absolutely love. I think it says absolutely everything about a player, doesn't it? We've got another interview to go to now. Let's see what we're saying. Oh, we haven't. No, the interview's gone. That's my bad. The interview's gone. I thought we were going to hear from Phil Foden there, the man in question.
What mistake we've made all night.
So we've got the game then at the weekend. Would you like to? Is there any players you want to see more of, Joleon?
I want to see John Stones, to be honest. I was pleased that he was on the bench tonight. Disappointed he didn't get on. I know Mende, and again, top player, but I just think for the future of the club and what it would mean to John Stones getting on, obviously Liverpool, Everton connection as well, and the stage of the game, and just getting minutes. I think he hasn't featured at all since the restart due to injury. So just getting some minutes, because there could become a stage we might need him, and the more minutes and exposure he gets when it's comfortable, it's going to be better for him.
I've had a few matches back since the restart, and it feels like now we are seeing Manchester City absolutely hit the levels that they've hit before in terms of pace, them moving the ball around, them chasing and tracking the ball and pressing to get the ball back as soon as they do lose it. And it feels like now they've hit that 100 miles an hour again, which we saw in previous games and previous seasons. It has taken a little while maybe, but actually we've hit it now, and this is a great position for the Champions League, for the FA Cup.
Definitely. I think the one game, obviously, would be the Chelsea game, that it wasn't going as smooth as what we've seen. But there were still moments in that game where we've seen the Man City, what we've seen tonight. But the Arsenal game, I thought after 20 minutes, we dominated and we were just consistent and probed and did everything necessary. I think the Newcastle game was exceptional as well. And I think it highlights the kind of level of fitness and sharpness that City boys have when you play against a team like this. No one's done that to Liverpool. No one in 18 months. Like, you know what I mean? I know Barcelona had a spell, but in the second leg, they kind of showcased them up. But teams don't do that, and players don't do that to the Liverpool team that is arguably one of the greatest Liverpool teams they've ever had.
What would the mindset be, do you think, of the players, just this last one quickly, about the season's done in terms of the Premier League and they've still got these games left to go in that Premier League? It must be tough mentally to actually know that you've lost out, but you've got to remain focused and positive for the other competitions.
I don't think it would be. I think it would be easier to stay focused when you know you've got the FA Cup coming up in the semi-finals and you're still in the Champions League. I think it's probably harder now for Liverpool to kind of mentally stay focused and be at it. I know they're kind of trying to create a history in regards to points, but no one's going to remember that if they don't do it. It's the title they came to win, and they've done that. So in terms of the City mindset and focus, it's easy to kind of stay focused when you know there's so much still at stake and he's still on the cusp of like winning so much.
Best team performance of the season, up there?
It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
It definitely would be up there. I'm trying to think. It's been so long since the season started.
I know.
I can't remember some of the games. I don't know. Real Madrid away was special.
Yeah,
and that's in a hostile environment, so that's got to be up there.
If we can go back into the Champions League, yes, we've still got that second leg, and we've still got to beat Real Madrid. Yes, we are winning against them, but we've got that second leg. If we can go and play like we did tonight, I feel so positive and so confident about this Champions League. We've never done it before, but maybe this could be our season.
Maybe it could be. Let's not jinx anything, but let's keep our fingers crossed. Thank you so much to you all for joining us. I want to say a massive thank you to Joleon for joining us. Kyle, thank you so much. I remember, we're not really here is the show for you. We are with you every single Sean Wright Phillips isn't. He's dropped off again.
Every time Liverpool get beat, I'll be here.
But we're with you every game, before the game, half-time and at full-time. So do join us. Do get in touch with us on socials, and we're back for the next City game. Have a wonderful evening. The result that we all wanted, City 4, Liverpool 0. They are the reigning champions, but sometimes, you know, the previous champions just step up and show class. Have a great evening.